Okay. All right. So there are lots of different ways we can have fragments, right? That we can make something not a complete idea. All right. The first one is too obvious. If you don't have a subject or a verb, you've got a fragment, right? You have to, because a sentence has to have a subject and a verb. I'm not reading those examples. It's just dumb at this point. You guys are juniors. Probably the most common way that someone at this level might try to punctuate a fragment as a sentence would be with the dependent clause. Okay? So they might say something like, and then put a period on it. Now, I know some of y'all are going, I know, good, you know better, okay? Most people know better. Most people here know better, okay? But people do that, okay? This is a dependent clause, okay? Yes, it has a subject and a verb, but because of this subordinating word, because of the because, if you will, okay, this is not a complete idea. It's a fragment. If you punctuate it as a sentence, it's a fragment. Wrong punctuation. It says a fragment can result simply from the incorrect use of a semicolon. Remember that what comes before and what comes after a semicolon must be independent clauses. Okay, look at the example they give. I know what they're saying now. For a second, I was like, what? After we left for the camping trip, there should be a comma there, right? That's a dependent clause. It's not a sentence. They put a semicolon. However, comma, I wondered whether I had packed my flashlight. They should have said, after we left for the camping trip, comma, however, comma, I wondered. All right? They talk about something here called permissible fragments. All right? You're not going to write like this as a rule. You're just not going to. It's not going to come up in your academic writing, in your formal writing, right? You're not going to do this. This is more of a creative writing type thing, which we're going to do next semester. Okay, if you're writing short stories, and I'm sure those of you that like to read, if you read short stories, they have a fair amount of these, especially the ones that are newer, right? If it's fiction and it's newer fiction, there's a fair amount of these. Okay, authorities would differ on whether that's really great or not, but it is what it is. But for essay writing, you would never have what's called a permissible fragment. Okay? They say here, then she remembered that God enables those whom he calls to service, period. Problem solved, period. Now, I do this in texting. Like, if I'm texting somebody I know, I'll text like a fragment, but it's obvious what the words are that are missing. But that's texting. That's not writing a paper, y'all. Okay? Page 134, comma splices and fused sentences. All right? These are not fragments. These are run-ons. All right? Very, very simple. That's a fused sentence. If you could read it out loud and you almost feel breathless, or you certainly are like, huh, at the end, okay? Two complete ideas, no punctuation at all, okay? Now, if I had this, that's a comma splice. Two complete ideas joined by a comma, okay? Now, if I change the word then to that, I'm good. I have a compound sentence, right? But unless it's a coordinated conjunction, and, but, or, nor, for, yet, or so, it is not ever okay to join two complete ideas with a comma. Okay, that's a comma splice. All right, they give you more examples there. Read those if you feel like you need to. Let's look at a couple of examples here. 5:12. Identify each group of words as a sentence, a fragment, a comma splice, or a fused sentence. Number 1, before the Norman Conquest of AD 1066, little written law existed in England. What do we got? It's a good sentence. Okay. You've got two back-to-back prepositional phrases followed by a comma, which is the way it should be punctuated, and then you have your independent clause. Okay. Number two, the Anglo-Saxons viewed crimes during this period as personal wrongs. The offender compensated the victim or his family for the offense. Comma splice. Good, Kirsten. Okay, that the comma after the word wrongs, you could put a semicolon there. You could put the word for with the comma. Would work. Okay. Let's see, number three. With the Norman Conquest, William the Conqueror instituted royal administrators who rode circuit to render justice. That's a big old long fragment, y'all. That is not a complete idea. Mm-hmm.
I know, I have no like reason.
Was it
You're
trying
like,
to
what?
tell me?
And it's hard to know. There's no real verb there. So, well, you've got a verb in your dependent clause, but that's it. Yeah. Okay. Number four, royal judges examined established customs before deciding a given case. These local customs and rules of conduct guided judges in decision making. Tanner. That is a fused sentence. All right. Do 5 through 10 and then do 5-13, but you do not have to fix them. Just be able to identify the problem in the blank to the left of the number on 5-13. Same stuff. And we'll get rid of this because some little 8th graders will come in here in a while and say, "Oh, you messed up, Miss Shoemaker."